Happy Friday, guys. Welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. Hope you guys all had a great Thursday night. We are here to get you guys ready for the weekend. We have got plays for Friday. We've got the 6 and 60 for Saturday. We've got some prop plays, and I even have one college hockey play for you guys. We're on a streak here with these. One college hockey play keeps the doctor away, apparently. So we'll try and do that again and keep cashing some tickets. We have Carmine back today. And it's just me and him looking to break things down and get after it here on the Friday slate. So a couple of interesting spots here, Carm, but we always know, look, the bigger slates are more fun, but these Friday slates, it's still time to make some money and find some winners. How are you, Carm?
I'm doing well, Andrew. You look like you need a coffee, so why don't you put me full screen? I'll do my 2-minute rant and you can grab yourself a coffee. Man, good to be back. Thank you for Don Buster for filling in for me yesterday. Of course, I watched a little bit of it from the hospital, and these guys are just Montreal fans. This is what happens when you get two Montreal fans co-hosting a show. The Habs end up losing to the Buffalo Sabres, 15-2. The Buffalo Sabres since firing their GM. Yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning are hot as fire right now, 11 straight wins, but the Sabres 15-2. And then I tuned in after I got home. I tuned into the Leaf game last night, just the third period, and it just made me sleep that much better off of a not so great 1-2 night for me. The Utah Mammoth get there over Dallas. This Utah team is playing so well as well too. But it was great seeing the Leafs lose too, because the fans. Man, the Leaf fans are so toxic. They showed up at the game in Vegas booing Mitch Marner. Like, what's wrong with people? Like, I don't get it. It's like one guy on my Instagram video where I did tips on beating the NHL. He's like, put up some plays and I'll fade you. The guy's like 12 years old. Anyways, with that said, man, it is good to be back. Everything went well yesterday. Other than the snowstorm we got, 90 minutes of shoveling my driveway yesterday before I could even pull the truck out to drive to the hospital, where normally a 20-minute drive took another about 70 minutes because everyone was going about 40 kilometers an hour, which I completely get. The roads were absolutely terrible. Toronto's terrible when everyone forgets how to drive, but the snow removal is worse. I don't know. For you guys in the summer, in the sun states, you know what I mean? You don't feel it. The ones in Detroit, I know in New York, I know you guys are feeling it as well too. But with that said, let's bring on Andrew back. We're going to cover Florida and Carolina, Nashville, Colorado, Anaheim, the LA Kings. We're going to have a pod, which seems to be zigzagging along. And there was a chance it could have got there if the Washington Capitals could have just tied it up in the third period. Same game parlay from Andrew, a college play from Andrew as well too. And then we're going to finish it off with the 6 and 60 and send you guys on your way. So hopefully that is good enough for you guys. Andrew, how did you enjoy that Montreal Buffalo game last night? The Sabres celebrated and wore their uniforms from 2005, 2006. I still have one of those uniforms signed by Dominic Hasek. Yeah, whatever. You know what? 79.8% equals there. It equals 0 points gained. You know what 20.2% is? Another victory for the Buffalo Sabres.
This Sabres team keeps getting lucky. They're getting lucky.
Tage Thompson. And I talked about Tage. I go, he's got to pick it up for this team because they haven't been looking great lately while still getting wins. Tage, the hat trick into the empty net. The Buffalo Sabres win that game. It was a tough game for the Sabres, and it was a tough spot for the Sabres, Andrew, because they were coming off. It was like the second of a back-to-back for them, and tired legs. You're playing against a Montreal team that plays a fast-paced game. I just thought the Sabres might actually fold up in that third period, but they stuck it out, man. Give them credit to that team. Kudos. I think they have Dallas up next, but they're playing Dallas or Minnesota up next, but they're playing some good hockey. So 15-2, but that means nothing because they're only like 2 or 3 losses from being out of a playoff spot. That is the Eastern Conference. Is that crazy or what?
It's nuts. Well, look at the Maple Leafs. Look at the Florida Panthers. Like, look at where the Florida Panthers are in the standings right now, Carm. And they're minus 225 to make the playoffs. I was checking that this morning, minus 225. So it's crazy to look at. You can't have a couple bad games in a row. You can't. And, the only good news for the Habs is that they at least got an overtime loss point against Washington. But now their game against Ottawa on Saturday becomes even more important. I'm not sure if you mentioned that one in your 6 and 60, but I guess I'll have to find out. And the game was interesting because, at first the opener was a weird number for me. And then I kind of fell for the bait with money coming in on Montreal, but I should have kind of looked at that weird opening number and said, okay, maybe Buffalo's the play. Utah, I know you mentioned that one. That one was kind of a weird number as well. That didn't really make much sense, and they ended up getting the job done. And then Winnipeg and Minnesota. I ended up on Minnesota yesterday, and oh my goodness, these guys got smoked. These guys got smoked by the Winnipeg Jets. And what's crazy about this Winnipeg Jets team, I saw someone tweet about it, is, Carm, they either lose 4 in a row or they win 4 in a row. They're not really a team that wins one, lose one, win one, lose one. They're like the opposite of a zigzag team. They either on a big streak or they're on a losing streak. Yeah,
well, they lost 12 in a row, so they need to win some, and the next team up for them is the Toronto Maple Leafs on the tail end of this road trip. But yeah, some weird games, and you look at it like last night. Some goalies absolutely, figuratively speaking, stood on their heads.
Yeah,
like Spencer Knight played great for the Chicago Blackhawks, but Devin Cooley made some opportune saves when he needed them the most, or when Calgary needed him the most, and then an empty netter makes it 3-1. But so many chances for Chicago to score. Their power play was non-existent yesterday. We saw some great goaltending. Aiden Hill returned for the Vegas Golden Knights. Joseph Wall played good, and he's getting ripped on media today. I don't get it. The guy's I think it was 9-1-2 his last 12 games coming in on a great run, and they rip him for one game. Maybe the team in front of him can play some defense.
Did you see Austin Matthews backcheck in overtime? Austin Matthews was so tired that he got back, and then Eichel was all alone in overtime. Austin Matthews, if you look at it from the backwards frame, he is nowhere to be found. He is just in the back, skating back. I mean, they could not blame the goalie for a lot of those goals. They could not.
Yeah, Lorenzo, I love to hear that your Tage Thompson is keeping your fantasy team alive. Clemenza, cannolis next week, buddy. Cannolis next week. The weather, hospital appointments. I just couldn't do it this week, but I'm going to stuff my face with 6 cannolis and Andrew during the show to keep up my part of the bet that I had with Clemenza in the comment section. So with that said, even though it was the Leafs to beat the Avalanche in regulation, which they didn't do, I'll still give him credit. And we're going to talk about Carolina a little later. Even though it's a big price, I found a different way to play that game. But with that said, Andrew, Florida and Carolina, minus 166 for Carolina, plus 136 for Florida. Total sits here at 6. Andrew, all I'm going to say is this. You're probably too young to remember the Cranberries, but they have a song called Zombie. And the tune is absolutely fantastic. It's like, in my head. And that's exactly what the Florida Panthers are to Carolina. They're in their heads. Coming back from a 3-0 deficit to beat them 4-3 in Florida, beating them again in Carolina. They've beaten them 8 of the last 9 times. Is Carolina ever going to beat this Florida team?
I'm not sure, but if they were going to, maybe tonight could be the night for it. But I'm just focusing on the first period over in this one. Look, I haven't been betting the automatic off a shutout. And shout out to Benjamin there for that great comment. PuckTime, new favorite show on YouTube. We appreciate you. We're here live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. But, Carm, for me, looking at this one, it's not like I'm looking at betting the system every single time now. But when it's a team that's coming off back-to-back poor outings like Carolina right now is, I feel like I want to look towards the first period over. Now, Florida, they're in some weird traveling schedule stuff because they were at the White House yesterday. They were giving they were giving Donald Trump some rings and some signed jerseys and doing some handshaking, and they had their suits on and their red ties and socializing. They were on a plane going one way, then on a plane going the other way, then hop on a plane, go back to Carolina. Meanwhile, Carolina is just sitting and waiting. They're frustrated. They've lost 2 in a row. They've got some rest with them right now. I feel like there's going to see a little bit of sloppiness early on. We got some key defensemen, including Seth Jones, currently out or day-to-day for the Florida Panthers. A couple of injuries have been bothering them overall all season. That's probably impacted some defensive play for them. I see no reason. It's a Friday night, Carm. Maybe some people have plans out there. Let's just win this one in 20 minutes. Let's take the first period over 1.5 goals. I think this is one of the ones that work. Out of this one and the Detroit game, both teams coming off shutouts, I think I like this first period over more. But I think this is going to be a good one here. So we'll see. It's not obviously a huge travel type of issue for Florida by any means, but is it fair to say, Carm, there's been some distractions for this Florida team over the past few days?
Yeah, I get it. When you're the Stanley Cup champions, or any champion in any league, whether it's NBA, NFL, or what have you, you do the White House thing. It's just it's a few hours you spend doing a ceremonial thing. They could have gone to lunch, a rookie's lunch, where the rookies pay for it, and they go to Applebee's. It would have been the exact same thing. You're away from the arena for like 4 to 5 hours, so that doesn't bother me. I do like your play, though. I do like the play. There's some good numbers on that first period over, and that's and that can take us there. I'm going to take Florida. I'm going to take Florida plus 136. A couple of the reasons, but this play is also dependent on, and I think you should wait to find out. Florida plays a back-to-back. They play Washington tomorrow. So obviously Bobrovsky's going to start one of the games. Was it Daniil I think Tarasov is their backup goalie. He's going to play the second. But if they flip them, where it's Tarasov tonight and Bobrovsky tomorrow, then I wouldn't want to be on the play. I want Bobrovsky in goal. And then there's also the fact that if it's Freddie Anderson in goal for Carolina tonight, the Canes right now have some goaltending issues. Obviously, Kochikov or whatever is on the IR. You have Boosie, who hasn't had the best run of it lately, but and then you have Freddie Anderson. You look at some of Freddie Anderson's games. He loses 4-3 to Detroit. He gets to win over the Anaheim Ducks 5-2. Colorado, a 5-3 loss. Pittsburgh, a 5-1 loss. Florida, a 5-2 loss the last time they played them. And that was 5 goals on 22 shots he allowed there. His save percentage in all of those games, 778, 846, 882, 821, 773. That is not a good save percentage for a goalie playing for a team like Carolina. They have issues, and they could be in the market because Freddie doesn't seem like Freddie's back. It's a little tough when you take a team and the team is playing well and your goalie lets in a couple soft ones, i.e. the Edmonton Oilers over the last few years. It is disheartening to a team. And yeah, I think someone mentioned it earlier. Sam Bennett is like a thorn in their side. Do I want to lay $1.66 with the goaltending issues that Carolina has right now? No, I do not want to. I'll take the plus 136, provided it is Bobrovsky, and the goalies will be named shortly because the morning skates are going on. Bobrovsky in goal, you give me the Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers, I mean, sometimes a team just has another team's number. That's just the end of the day. Sometimes a team just has another team's number. I think with Carolina, though, at home, they have to be able to play a good defensive game. They're going to be looking for that big time today. But I'm looking for the first period to have at least a bang. We'll see. Hopefully come out with both teams getting on the board, maybe at least a 1-1, 2-0. I need that first period over to hit here tonight for that one. Carmine looking towards Florida in this one. I think it's going to be a good Eastern Conference game. Look, Friday night, we typically expect more quality games that take place on the bigger slates or on the Saturday slates. But, hey, not a bad game here to get us going, Carmen. We'll see if Carolina can bounce back, or we'll see if Florida can keep it rolling for them. I just find that so interesting, guys, like minus 225, Florida to make the playoffs. And I keep seeing these tweets, Carm, on social media where people are saying, I hope you guys are all enjoying how competitive the East has been, because we all know Florida's going to just come in and bully everybody again. And it's so true, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be such a great season, and all of a sudden Florida gets healthy again, and then they go back to the Cup Finals. Like, if this team is a wagon, and if they end up going back to the conference finals, they're built for the playoffs, man. This team is built for the playoffs. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, everybody knows, like, right now, the big thing for the Canadians, they had some close games against the Caps last year, but it was the physicality. And even your Buffalo Sabres yesterday, they were more physical than the Habs. And Florida knows how to play that physical but skill game. I mean, Bennett and Marchand are two of the best agitators in the whole league. So if somebody asks me who I want to win the Cup, I'm just going to say anybody but Florida. And I know some of the guys in the chat aren't going to like me for that. I know we had a comment last week that didn't like that, but I want to keep it fresh a little bit. We don't want a Golden State Warriors situation going on in the NHL right now.
Yeah, but that could be the state of Florida being Golden State, because the Tampa Bay Lightning are just playing some great hockey. It is very tough to find kinks in their armor, and they're not overusing Vasilevsky in goal. They're going to give him some breathers, but they're playing some phenomenal hockey right now. So could it stay in Florida? Who knows? Because there aren't a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference that are putting together like these massive win streaks. The Sabres are. I don't expect the Sabres to be a cup contender. Tampa Bay, yes. Florida, yes. And a couple of the other teams that are starting to come on. Carolina needs the goaltending issues to be resolved, because that is going to be a big negative for them in the playoffs. If you're worried about who your number one is going into the playoffs, and then you got to yank a guy after game one because he allowed 6 or 7 goals, what do you do in game two? It is the uncertainty of the NHL, and we'll see. There's 49 days until the trade deadline. So we'll see what happens prior to that. Andrew, most people will wonder, why did I put a team that is minus 310 on today's card to discuss? Colorado, minus 310. Nashville, plus 243. 6.5 is the total. I have a way of playing this, but I want to hear what your thoughts are.
Well, look, I'll start with this, Carm. My thoughts are that I've told you before is that I have not played on these great teams enough this season. That's been a problem. Tampa Bay, Colorado, it's just not been enough. Minnesota, even, we could talk about it. We can talk about Dallas. We can talk about some of these awesome teams throughout even I'll take a look at Tampa Bay. I have not played on them enough this year. Look, my hat's off to the Predators for some success they've had lately in a couple games, right? Like, you beat the Islanders, you beat the Caps, you beat the Oilers in that rapid revenge spot. I still don't believe they're anything special. I believe that they do rely on goaltending quite a bit here. And, there's only one way to go about it if you want to try and find some plus money. And there's the only way you can do it here, Carm, is by looking at alternative numbers, and that's what I'm going to do here with the team total. You can get over 3.5 at minus 170 for the Avalanche. I can get over 4.5 at plus 140. That's the move here. I'm taking the Colorado Avalanche over 4.5 goals at plus 140. I think you can look at the first period play, look at the minus a hook, -1 at really good prices. But I just think this Avalanche team is going to do some damage on them. And you look at the last couple of games for this Avalanche team, they haven't had a level of consistency. They're going to have some anger to put out on this team. And I feel like Nashville right now, a bit fatigued, playing some tough games, playing some close games, winners of 3 of their last 4. And you've got an Avalanche team that's coming in here. They lost to the Lightning. They lost to the Maple Leafs. They lost to the Panthers. This team is going to want this game. And I don't think the Nashville Predators are going to get in front of them. So not over 3.5, over 4.5 goals.
I was looking at that this morning. You look at, they suffered their 3rd loss at home. All of the losses have come in, obviously, in overtime. But how did they respond to those losses? Their first home OT loss, they win their next game 4-1 on home ice. Their second home OT loss, they win 8-4 on home again. They respond. So now they're off a home loss to the Leafs. Do they respond with another win? I think they do. I'm looking at this a little differently. I think someone posted like the first period -1 plus 240. The plus 240 is there to get you to play that game, but it is, they've got to win by 2 or be ahead by 2 at the end of the first period. I prefer the -0.5 because -0.5 is plus 108 in this spot. Colorado, how do they fare at home? 14. This is on the two-way money line. So first of all, the two-way money line, they're 14, 3, and 5. 14 wins, three losses, 5 pushes, or tied at the end. So now, even if you factor in the VIG and on those ones, it is still profitable if you're getting plus money to bet on Colorado in the first period. You know who it's not profitable on? The Nashville Predators, who in 21 games on the road this season have only led at the end of the first period 3 times. They've trailed 12 times, and they've been tied after 60 minutes 6 times. You're getting plus money here to lay a half a goal that the Avs will come out quick in this one and get a lead. All I need is a lead at the end of the first period. I don't need a 2-goal lead, a 1-goal lead. Get some plus money on this one and get another another game in which the Avs bounce back off a home loss in their next home game. So that's where I'm going here, Andrew. -0.5 plus 108 first period.
We're on the Avalanche bandwagon tonight, Carm. We're on the wagon here with the Avalanche, and look, I think it's a good spot for it. There's going to be times that we're going to say, hey, this price is too steep, or this might not be a good spot for them, but there's nothing that really indicates to me in this matchup that it could be flat. I don't think we could see a flat Colorado team here. I saw a few people talking about maybe some parlays, Colorado and Detroit. You find a dance partner with maybe this weekend in the NFL with a player prop, a same game parlay, whatever it might be. But this is what happens, right? Is that you got a team that's near -300, that it becomes a little bit difficult to want to play on them. And so, every year, like I'll use this as an example, and they talk about the betting strategy stuff on WagerTalk today a lot. But when you look at this type of bet, right, you think about the Los Angeles Dodgers, who just, of course, signed another massive free agent because why not? They're already going to win every year for the next 10 years. But we won't get into that because the Blue Jays had multiple chances to win. This is a type of scenario here, Carm, where I think when you look at things, you need to be able to find ways to bet on these great teams. Because, the -300s, they're hanging those out there because at the end of the day, all a team has to do is lose at a big price like that a handful of times in order for them to make their money back, right? And so, like, we always talk about the units, right? It's not about how many wins a team has for us as sports bettors. It's about how are they doing plus or minus units, right? And I think that with a team like Colorado, they've lost a couple games lately. We're gonna want to bounce back on them and look towards them. But they're a team that I think we want to still find a way to bet on. It's just a matter of how we do it. Because if you lay the -300, then all of a sudden you have to win a ton more with this team, and you can't afford any losses, right? So a lot of people wonder that. Like, I know Teddy Covers has talked about that on WagerTalk today. Like, how do the books protect themselves from people just betting on the LA Dodgers every game? And the fact is that even the best of the best of the best teams in the NHL and the MLB, they're still going to lose a handful of games every year, Carm, right?
Yeah. It's the fact that the public is going to bet on them is baked into the number. So
right.
If the true number is -180 on the Dodgers, they're going to make them -220, -240, somewhere around there, because they know the public is still going to bet them. It is great for guys who are underdog bettors. Like Brian Leonard is absolutely fantastic at this in Major League Baseball, which I think he's the top capper at WagerTalk in baseball. He finds those plus 140s, plus 150s that really should be plus 120s, plus 110s or what have you, and he puts them out to his clients because there's so much value because people are over betting the one side. And Brian comes in and says, the numbers are right on this, on the dog in this spot. So kudos to him. We'll have some promos for Brian when he returns next week, or I think it's the week after. So much needed vacation for him. He'll be primed for the second half of the season. But Andrew, the problem here that I have is it is too easy to just look at an odds board and say, all right, well, Colorado's minus 310. Detroit's, minus 260. Let me put them together and I get like plus 105 or whatever. Is you now need 2 games to win to basically on an even money bet.
Yeah.
This is why parlays are tough. You know what I mean? I tell you about 7 or 8 team parlays or leg parlays that are tough to win. There's always one leg that's going to screw you. They can do it in a 2-teamer as well too. So it is very tough. I'm not saying don't play them, but if you're playing them like long-term to make money, I don't think it's the way to go. Quite frankly, I think you protect your bankroll. You play single game bets and just imagine, a 4-team parlay, you win 3 out of 4, you hit 75% of your wagers and you lost money. Makes no sense. So we should have a segment, Andrew, you and I, make it make sense, because this one makes no sense to me. But
well, that's like this might be hard for some people to believe, but I couldn't believe this when I found this out, Carm. Prize Picks and Underdog and all those apps. There are some people out there that have never actually bet on anything else besides those apps because their state still hasn't legalized gambling, on single event betting. So some people still in 2026 think that the only way to make picks is by making a 4-teamer. Like there are people out there that are probably really good prop bettors that are going 3 for 4 every night on Prize Picks, 75%, and they're losing their slips. They're losing like that. Think about it, man. These guys are going 3 for 4 every night on NBA picks, NHL picks, or whatever, and they're losing money because they don't actually know that you're able to single game bet. So, look, I'll tell you guys, we're going to get to it in a little while. We have one more game to get to. I know that my my same game parlays have not been good. But the funny thing is, inside those massive same game parlays, I'm still giving out some great props. Like yesterday, you could have gotten Mitch Marner at minus 120 to get an assist. He got 3 assists. So I gave that out. I didn't hit the full same game parlay because, Carm, I might be the world's worst under better right now. Back-to-back days on the same game parlay, I give out an under and the game reaches like 9 goals and not 8 or 9 goals. But inside those picks, we're still giving out some good props, and hopefully you guys are single betting those as well.
Yeah, and we'll just start the same game parlay with like a disclaimer and just say, guys, it is a same game parlay, because we do that segment, for those who are wondering, we do that segment because last year we asked people what they wanted, and during the off season, I would tweet out different polls of what you guys wanted, and people wanted the ladder challenge. They wanted same game parlays. But I chose to turn the ladder challenge into the pod instead. Completely different, because the pod starts with a certain amount of money, and the idea is one play to build it up. The ladder challenge is you get one loss and you've lost it all.
Yeah.
So to me, that doesn't make any sense. It would be dumb for me to continue a ladder challenge or do a ladder challenge when I'm telling you guys to be responsible with your bets and how you put them in and manage your bankroll, and then tell you, all right, we're all in on this game here. So with that said, let's talk LA Kings and the Anaheim Ducks. These two, Andrew, play back-to-back games, and these two will be part of my 6 and 60. The only thing that I would hate is if the goaltending for tonight's game is any different than what I'm expecting right now. I'm expecting tonight's goalies to be Lucas Dostal and Darcy Comfort in this one. And I like the Kings. The Kings are starting to play a little bit better. They're going to be fine. They just need to string, kind of like the Winnipeg Jets. They need to get on a run and start winning games. Probably at the height of what I want to lay here, 158 with the Kings, but I'll take them at home in the first of this back-to-back. Andrew, how you playing this one?
Yeah, this Kings team's hard to read right now, Carm, because I really don't know what to expect from them because they're making games close. They're competing hard right now. They're just not able to finish games off. And I think that's kind of a tricky thing to handicap for us because we really want to know, okay, what type of team is this team? And you know, that game against Vegas, you know, they played well. They came back once, came back twice, goes to overtime. Looked pretty good against the Oilers, but then they've had some tough ones as well, right? Where, you know, you give up goals late against the Sharks. Like, I'm shocked they didn't even win that game, you know, and then against the Jets, they come out flat. But overall, this is one of those scenarios here, looking at my odds logic page here, Carm, the number has come down so far that this is like the opposite of, you know, sometimes like yesterday, Winnipeg took a lot of money. And they end up having success. But this is one of those ones here where I kind of want to go against the money move. According to odds logic, opener was minus 170, current number minus 135, average price. I am interested in going with them. But I'll tell you, if you can still snag a 6.5, I am a bit interested at taking a look at the under here. I know I made some jokes about my unders haven't been great lately, guys, but I think this could be a good one. Lucas Dostal, he's back to playing a little bit better hockey here. Darcy Kemper, we obviously know what he's capable of, selected to the Team Canada national team. And I honestly think, Carm, this LA team has realized if they're going to have success, it's going to be in one way, and it's going to be in defensive games. They're going back to their mean. They're going back to who they once were, and I feel like it's helping them out a little bit. So under 6.5, if you can get it, I'm seeing mostly 6s now available, but I do lean towards that home side. Any thoughts, Carm, on that rapid line movement there?
No, I don't think so. I think it's one of those ones where sometimes you look at the numbers and, you know, Darcy Comfort, he's been a little bit better, but he's lost his last 2 starts. But it also has to do with the team isn't scoring goals for him. You look at it, he loses 3-1, he loses 3-2. You got to score some goals for this guy. You got to give him a lead. And it's something they don't seem to do. Now you get an Anaheim team coming in who does allow a lot of goals in the first of a back-to-back. Darcy's numbers are 2.5 with a 904 save percentage, and his record is like 13-9. He's got very good numbers for what we're seeing in the NHL this season, but they're not scoring goals from him. The Kings need to start scoring some goals. And especially on home ice. So, you know, with that said, anytime the Kings and Anaheim get together, it's usually a very good game. I hope it is Dostal and Darcy Comfort in goal tonight. But I think if a little more money comes in on Anaheim and it's still remaining goalies and I can get 150, then I will probably even put that out as a client play at 150. 158 is the high end of it. And I anticipate that there's going to be some buyback from that move overnight, and this probably closes at about 165. So, which is kind of out of my zone because I had it priced at 155. So I don't want to pay 10 cents more than where it's likely going to land, because long term, paying that extra 10 cents in VIG, you're not going to make money.
I like this comment here from Jean-Pierre. Says if Kings didn't have Kemper, they would look like the Rangers right now. How about those Rangers, Carmen? I mean, we've talked about them a lot on the show, but here we are thinking that Jonathan Quick is one of the best backups in the league, and all of a sudden we're starting to realize his age because you give him a lot more starts than he needs, and you know, he's looking a little bit different there. And I get it. Let Go says Kemper's struggling lately, but we still trust his rebound control and good defense, or good goaltending. But what do you think about that comparison? Kemper, I mean, look, Jonathan Quick has been chased from the net a couple times for the New York Rangers. I don't know if Kemper is the same as Shesterkin, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, it is tough. The comparison is kind of funny because it's as teams go, it seems it almost seems like they are the West Coast version of the New York Rangers. Rangers average about 2 goals per game. I think even a little less than that on home ice. 56 goals for the LA Kings in 23 home games. That's not very good. That's like what, 2.1, 2.2 goals per game. You're not going to win a lot of games unless you're the 1985 version of the New Jersey Devils who played the neutral zone trap. You're just not going to win a lot of games in the NHL when you're only scoring a couple goals per game at home. So maybe with the Anaheim Ducks, Andrew, coming to town tonight, they get to face them twice. Maybe that's the team that is like the get well spot for them as far as scoring goes. The Ducks on the road have allowed the most goals in the Western Conference at 95, which is in 24 games. So they're allowing almost, or it probably is about 4 goals per game on 4 goals per game they're allowing on the road. So you give the LA Kings four goals tonight, Andrew, and they're winning the game.
Everyone's saying, why are we spending so much time on a crappy game?
Well, we could talk about the Montreal Canadiens, but they
playing.
lost Habs relic. Yes, of course. We wasted about a minute and a half talking about the Montreal Canadiens and how the Sabres absolutely just pummeled them last night.
I'll say this about the Tampa Bay and St. Louis game. Realistically, I've been talking about the streaks and how much are we going to want to back a streak. This team is red hot right now, this Tampa Bay Lightning team, guys. And looking at the St. Louis Blues, this goaltending edge is so massive right now. It's hard to even put across the screen. I don't think St. Louis can have back-to-back good efforts. If I'm playing that game, I think that's going to be a good over game. Like looking at St. Louis, they're not going to shut out a team again. They're off a 3-0 shutout performance, Carm. They won 3-0 against Carolina. They're not going to do that again. I could see some goals in this one for both teams. So you guys want to play on another game? I think that one could be the one.
Andrew, I'm just looking something up right now real quick because I get a call yesterday from Rob just to see how I'm doing, how I'm feeling and what have you. And he's telling me about a stat that he heard on VSiN. And it was with regards to, because you're a prop guy, Sergachev. He's gone over his 1.5 shots on goal prop in like 18 of 19 games, something like that. I don't know what the VIG was on it, but I checked last night after the game was over and he had 2 shots on goal. So I think he's like 19 of 20 or 18 of 19. I don't even know what the VIG is on that for 2 shots for him, but that prop keeps hitting.
Those guys with the 1.5 shots, that's the thing, is the VIG is there, but sometimes it's like, hey, why not keep playing it, right? If the VIG is there, you've made enough money with it. And that's kind of something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I do on my other show, the pre-scout, and I think about doing on the same game parlay segment, is not just giving you guys a couple quick picks, but maybe moving forward, I'll start shouting out some guys on streaks. I have access to that information. The new website that I've been working with, Carm, and maybe I can shout them out and tell people, because you know what? That's the best part about it, is that it's kind of like the third option wide receiver on a team, right? How many people are giving out props on that guy? Or how many people know that the second wide running back is going over on his receiving yards or, rushing attempts? Like, you want to be able to find the diamond in the rough. And I don't think at a bar you are going to be talking to people and saying, hey, have you heard about the Sergachev prop? Like the people are going to be like, dude, it's Austin Matthews. Like it's, every day. I remember when I was visiting you in Toronto, my buddy, who's a really good Leafs fan, we couldn't use our account. So he's like, hey, Carm, let me use your account. And he put in the most like obvious parlay. It was like Marner, Matthews, like 2 goals for this, Leafs win. And sometimes it's nice to be a little bit more outside the box, right? And that Sergachev one is probably one of those here. I got a little same gamer for us here, though, Carm, to bring up for today. Let's see if I got it on the screen here. It's a little bit small, actually, but it doesn't look too bad. Same game parlay, Florida and Carolina here, guys. And again, you can find a way to, mix and match. Maybe you can put Taylor Hall and Stan Coven together. You could put Verhaeghe and Bennett together. You can bet the first period over as itself. These are all just suggestions for plays that I like in this game. But first period over 1.5 goals, Taylor Hall and Stan Coven to each get a point. Verhaeghe, and Bennett to each get a point. Of course, all of those guys play together on the same line. That takes us to plus 800. And good news about these, Carm, is you only have to hit one every now and then you're back in action. So plus 800, Bennett, Verhaeghe, Stankoven, Hall, and over 1.5 goals in the first period. That's your same game parlay, guys. Next week, we'll kind of add some more stuff to the segment. I'll give some time to think about it over the weekend, and we'll get back to you with more.
All right. So I was hoping we would do the same game parlay in between my two segments to give me a chance to rehydrate, but it's okay.
I'll do my college hockey pick. I'll do my college hockey pick.
And stand by for Andrew's college hockey pick after the pod play. Andrew, let's ready the pod play. The pod play has been
my bad.
It's all good. It's all good. The pod play has been zigging and zagging. It's zigged yesterday. We needed to zag today with a win. And I'm going back to that Colorado game. I am going to take the Colorado Avalanche first period -0.5 plus 108. They've responded with 4-1 and 8-4 wins off of their last two and their only two home losses prior to losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs. You got the Nashville Predators coming in, playing some pretty good hockey, but they play much better at home, I think, than they do on the road. I'm taking the Colorado Avalanche to have the first period lead in this one. 14-3-5 for the Avalanche in the first period. 14 times they've led, 3 times they've trailed, and 5 times they've been tied after one. Getting plus money on this prop. If you've bet them all season long, you've been making money. So that is your pod play for today.
The POD, the Avalanche first period -0.5 goal. And you know what? With that crazy price that we're seeing there, you're able to get some plus money. And yes, I know, let go. I understand. Looks like I'm hunting for ducks. I'm not going to lie, guys. I never wore camo in my whole entire life. And I got the sweater as a gift, and it's just the most comfy thing ever. You guys, you don't understand unless you're wearing it. It's such a comfy sweater. It's Friday. It's casual day on PuckTime, guys. Come on, no dress shirts needed today on the show. It's casual day here on PuckTime. So
as long as you're wearing pants, right? Feel a little awkward right now, Andrew. If
you'll never know. You'll never know. Exactly. Nobody will ever know.
You'll never know. They'll never know. Isn't that like, I've heard that phrase before? They'll never know. They will never know. So Andrew, you have a college play for us. Let us know what you've got, and then I will ready myself for the 6 and 60.
Yeah, everybody's saying I couldn't even see Andrew wearing that. Yeah, exactly. I don't even leave the house with this guy, so maybe I shouldn't be wearing this on a YouTube channel with 200,000 subscribers. But hey, you live and you learn. You live and you learn here with it. Look here, guys. Michigan versus Minnesota here. The number is pretty high, but I'll tell you what, this is a spot here that I continue to think the Minnesota is going to keep rolling here. Jack Ivankovic, his numbers after he got injured last year, he for me has been unbelievable as a goaltender, and his numbers: .927 save percentage, .192 goals against average, 17-4 record. Overall, this team is so strong. 4.9 goals per game. The way I look at it is this team is a parlay piece. This team, you can play the money line. You can play the -1.5 goals, plus 124. Michigan versus Minnesota. But the big one that I like here in this one today here, guys, is plus 124. Wisconsin at home. Underdog of the day against Michigan State. This is a Wisconsin team that just has their number. They've played well over the years. They had that nice sweep earlier in the season against Michigan State. Now they get to play at home and host them. Plus 124 is the number. This Wisconsin team's playing great defensive hockey lately, great goaltending as well. And I know Michigan State is loaded with NHL draft prospects and, of course, guys that will be entering the draft this coming season. But I'm liking the plus money here. Plus 124 on Wisconsin. And you can take the -1.5 goals on Michigan over Minnesota. So, but honestly, guys, if you want to, maybe do a Minnesota college hockey parlay with Colorado in the NHL, whatever it might be, but I do think Minnesota is a great play. Like Carm, you know how sometimes like Yanni the Greek with UFC, people will say like there's still value in a minus 200, or it's about what you think the closing number would be. I think today the minus 200 on Minnesota, there's actually value there with it, but I will give you guys an underdog pick here. Wisconsin plus 124. I like that one quite a bit. So Michigan minus 1.5. If you don't want to lay the number, and we'll look at Wisconsin at plus 124 against Michigan State. 2 picks for you. Carm, you're ready to go here with the 6 and 60. Get us ready for the weekend.
All right. Hold on, Andrew. Don't put up the graphic just yet. Stand by. I just want to read something that I missed out on when I was talking about Colorado. It's supposed to be Mackenzie Blackwood in goal tonight for Colorado. I just wanted to read his stats just because you look at some goalie numbers, and he's having a great season. But at home, Mackenzie Blackwood is 7-0 with a 155 goals against average, 1.55, a .930 save percentage, and he has faced the Nashville Predators twice this season. His save percentage, 1,000. His goals against average, 0.00 in 2 starts. That's Mackenzie Blackwood. So let's see if he keeps that going tonight. And the Avs are looking good. But the goalies always have great numbers, Andrew, when the team is winning. But
they're phenomenal. They're a great team.
Normally, when the team is winning. But that's your normally wins and losses. When the goals against average and the save percentage, one is low and the save percentage is high, that also means that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing in goal. So with that said, last week in the square edition of the 6 and 60, we went 5-1. The only loser in overtime, Minnesota losing to the New York Islanders, who are playing some great hockey at the moment. And Sorokin, absolutely phenomenal last night in stopping the 20-game point streak of Connor McDavid in a 1-0 win in Edmonton last night. So Sorokin did the job there. Maybe I'll mention him a little later on in this 6 and 60. But with that said, guys, this is the square 6 and 60 part 2. So Andrew, I'm ready to go. All right, Calgary and the Islanders. We're going to take the Islanders money line. Calgary, first game back after a 5-game road trip. Isles look to complete the Alberta double after beating the Oilers 1-0 last night. Pittsburgh and Columbus. Give me the over in this one. The coaches bump for Columbus. They're playing extremely well, but all 3 games have gone over with at least 9 goals scored in those games. We'll look for a 4th to go over. Winnipeg and Toronto, Jets money line. Leafs at the tail end of a road trip, and they get a hot Jets team that have won 4 straight games. Anaheim, the LA Kings, bet the over. Ville Husso should be in goal for the second of a back-to-back. His 9 starts, the over is 8-1, 7.38 goals scored per game in those games. Vancouver and Edmonton, Oilers money line, 9 straight losses for the Canucks, and first back after a 6-game East Coast trip. Vegas and Nashville, Knights money line, 6 straight wins and off a huge win against the Toronto Maple Leafs in OT. That is your 6 and 60.
Not bad. Not bad there, Carmine. I like those picks too. And I especially like that Jets one for them to stay hot. But that's going to be a big one for the Maple Leafs. It's going to be a big one for the Maple Leafs. I'm going to have my every game on the board video out probably, this evening. It's going to be a lot shorter of a video than it usually is. No guests, because I am actually going on a couple-day road trip starting in a couple hours. So looking forward to that, getting out of town for a couple days. But we're going to have, maybe 10, 15 minutes of just going over some of the games, and I'll be talking about that one. And that Winnipeg Jets one, Carm, I think is going to be a big game for both teams. Who knows with this Jets team, man? Because you never know what you're going to get with them. They are the box of chocolates of the NHL this year.
I will say this, because I normally end with a fun little, this 6 and 60 is brought to you by, if my VIP host at FanDuel is watching, and I sent him a link, and he said he'd watch a PuckTime episode. If you're watching the 6 and 60 brought to you by FanDuel, I think that would be an absolutely phenomenal segment. 240,000 subscribers. We have a PuckTime community that absolutely tunes in every day, comments on the videos afterwards. You guys need that. Maybe put a 6 and 60 up on the site instead of like some of these guys that they have on FanDuel that's play this guy's parlay. No, play Carm's 6 and 60. So just click on the link and give them like a 30% boost. What do you guys think? Everyone's loving it. So we'll go with it. But Andrew, just to go over the 6 and 60 real quick, the Isles are playing phenomenal hockey right now. Didn't expect it from the Isles this season, but Sorokin, kudos to Patrick Roy. Sorokin has a very bad game. He starts him the very next start. And he shuts out the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton, where things could go normally from bad to worse for a goalie. The Pittsburgh Columbus, the coach's balance is working there, 2 straight wins. But the scores of those their games, all 3 Pittsburgh Columbus games have gone to overtime this season. Winnipeg and Toronto, we talk about the Jets and how they're doing right now. Ville Husso, if he's in goal tomorrow, it's the reason why I like the over, and that'll likely make my card. He is the epitome of what Swiss cheese is. That's why Johnny Detroit offered to drive him to the airport when he was a goalie in Detroit. Drive him to the airport and tell him never to come back. Vancouver and Edmonton, this Canucks team is going to be a seller at the trade deadline. And then Vegas and Nashville, the Knights seem to be turning around. 6 straight wins for this team. We've seen a lot of teams go on big runs. The Tampa Bay is doing it. The Buffalo Sabres did it. Why can't the Vegas Golden Knights do it?
The thing is about this Vegas team, though, Carm, is that they've had the tools all year, though. Why have they not been good already? That's the thing about them.
Sometimes it takes a while. It's one of those things when you're a good team, you're going to put it together. Like we're seeing some, and we're running late, but we're seeing some extremely lopsided scores in the NHL. And I think with this condensed schedule and teams knowing they got to play the next day or what have you, once they're down 3 or 4-0 in a game, they just lose their energy level. You're seeing 10-2 games, 9-0 games, 9-1 games. We never saw that in the NHL last season, not to the amount that we're seeing right now, because this January schedule, they're just mushing all the games in there, and they're expecting teams to play it, and some just aren't showing up. So,
it's like the meme, stop, they're already dead. They're already dead, and they keep on piling it on. Yeah. But Carm, I'll let you close it out. I'll just mention it. I haven't mentioned it all show so far, but I do have a 5% play tonight in the NHL. I got a big bet going. Ooh, we cashed a 5% earlier in the week. And you know what? Sometimes the 5%ers, you find value on the bigger slates. Well, I got one tonight that I really, really like. So 5% NHL big bet. If you guys want to get that, it's regular price at WagerTalk, or go to my page, wt.buzz/am. You guys can get 7 days for the price of 3. Get every single play that I release, and that's the way to go. We're going to have action Saturday. We're going to have action Sunday, and of course, in action with a lot more than just the 5% play tonight. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Trying to hit another one this week. We hit the Columbus Blue Jackets earlier in the week. Let's do it again. 5% play, guys. Don't miss it. wt.buzz/am. Back over to you, Carm.
Okay, Andrew, I wish you the best of luck. You better drop that game so I know who I'm betting on in tonight's action, but I will have a couple plays up on tonight's action. Sorry, I was just punching in a code for you guys in the live chat. You'll see it there. 5 NFL 10. 5 NFL 10 will get you $10 off my 5% play in the NFL. 3-1 with sides last on wild card weekend, and including a 5% play on the Bills. I have another 5% play loaded for Saturday's action, so you can get that and get $10 off of that one. Monster soccer card on Saturday. There's already 3 plays loaded. I'm going to be putting up the package with a couple more plays from the Italian Soccer League as well, too, to go with the EPL ones. So 5 plays there. The NHL card, which is a huge one. So whether you just want football, you can get that Weekend Warrior pack. If you want all the plays, get a 3-day all access and get all plays today, tomorrow, and Sunday. You're going to get a lot of plays from me, and hopefully it is a big monster winning weekend for us. That's it, guys. Appreciate you guys commenting in the comment section. Hit that like button and subscribe on the way out if you haven't already done so. For myself and Andrew, this is Puck Time. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a fantastic weekend.